Squish! Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. A while back, I made a video talking about how I believe the most important part of a story, of any story, is the characters. The individuals with goals, motivations, personalities that we as the viewers get to watch, analyze, and dissect. To me, good character writing can make or break a series. That is especially true for the main character, the main lead, the head honcho of the story. If they don't work, I'm gonna have a hard time getting into the rest of what the show, movie, book has to offer. Thankfully, when it comes to anime, there is no shortage of great MCs to choose from. So I want to take some time and talk about the MCs that I really enjoy, the main characters that have worked their way into my MC Hall of Fame. Strangely enough, the lead we're talking about today just made his way onto the scene, Itadori Yuji. Main character of the hit shonen series, Jujutsu Kaisen. This lovable, superhuman lughead is one of the coolest main characters that I have come across in a while. Going from a laid-back high school student to a powerful Jujutsu sorcerer and vessel of the evil curse Sukuna has shown not only his capability of driving a story of JJK's magnitude forward with ease, but he's a lot more complex of a character than he may appear. I love this dude so much, and I want to talk about why. Let's go over who he is, what he's about, and why he stands out to me so much. From the very beginning of the story, we learn Itadori Yuji is a light-hearted, honest guy who shoulders a lot of self-responsibility, doing what he can to be there for his friends and his dying grandfather. This sense of self-responsibility is a big part of his character and will play a huge role in just about every decision he will make in the future. When faced with impending doom, his new acquaintance Megumi on his last leg, Yuji makes a bizarre decision to eat the finger of a cursed spirit in the hopes to gain the power he needs to fight, but it comes at a serious consequence. Yuji now shares a body with Sukuna, king of the curses. He is tasked with collecting and eating all of the remaining Sukuna fingers so he can be executed along with Sukuna. This aspect of the story and Yuji's character is so unique. We as the viewers are told that our main character is destined to die at the end of this journey in order to save the world, setting up a much darker tone for Itadori's future than you would normally expect from a story like this. From that point on, Yuji will face what it means to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, to truly face death for the sake of others, the line between a protector and a murderer, powerful cursed spirits, powerful sorcerers, and the never-ending battle to answer the question, what does it mean to have a proper death? All the while remaining kind and warm to everyone he meets. Yuji treats everyone with respect, never being quick to judge. Besides that time he made fun of Jogo's head. Itadori is really funny. It's rare for me to laugh while consuming shonen series, but he genuinely gets me sometimes. While humor is definitely a strength of his, let's go ahead and talk about some of his other more prominent strengths and a few of his weaknesses. As I mentioned before, our pink-haired protagonist is crazy strong. Pure raw strength that rivals some of the most well-trained fighters like Maki. Yuji starts off not knowing anything about cursed energy, relying solely on his natural strength, but the more battles he gets into causes him to become more in tune with using cursed energy to make his attacks more devastating. More on this in a sec. So far, he has nothing in the way of a specific cursed technique like Boogie Woogie or Shadow Demons, but his fighting aptitude gives him access to Divergent Fist, the ability to delay cursed energy after the initial impact, to cause a second hit effect, and the ability to tap into Black Flash, one of the most powerful techniques a Jujutsu sorcerer can use. One of Yuji's major setbacks is that he's not very bright. Usually this character trait is pretty common among main characters, but at times for Yuji, this lack of critical thinking will lead him to making decisions that have major implications. He may be strong, but he can be very limited in creating options for a win, so he relies heavily on his comrades to pick up where he falls short. Although, where he may not be the brightest, he is an extremely fast learner. Just one sparring match with Todo, and Yuji got what he needed to unlock Black Flash. Outside of that, Yuji has one big character flaw that I want to take a deeper look at. I believe it's the thing that truly separates him from the rest. Itadori Yuji entered the world of curses and Jujutsu sorcerers as a simple high school kid whose only run-in with death was the recent passing of his grandfather. His transition from his old life to his new responsibilities was very quick, so it's fair to say he never really had time to adjust for what's coming. Because of this, it leaves Yuji being very naive to what it means to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, which is touched on immediately when he meets the principal of Jujutsu High. His belief that he can do what he needs to because of his grandfather's dying wish is exposed as not being a good enough reason to risk your life in horrific ways on a daily basis. One must harbor their own will and conviction to do the work that is required, which Yuji comes to terms with as he's continuously punched in the face by a doll. This will be just a taste of all the times Yuji's resolve will be tested. The sense of responsibility that I mentioned earlier causes Yuji to think that he can save everyone, that killing someone is out of the question, that the lines between good and evil are clear. In other stories, and others shonen a lot of the time, the hero is always allowed to believe these things. There is good and evil, that the hero will always come through in the end. But that is not the case here. The world of Jujutsu Kaisen is much more grounded, so Yuji will have to make very difficult decisions, truly see the ugly for the world and act accordingly. There will be times he will not be able to save everyone. There will be times where he has to kill. Jujutsu sorcerers are not heroes, they simply deal with spirits. People will die, and Itadori will have to deal with that truth. What I love about this is how he handles these realizations. His kind-hearted ways cause Yuji to become heavily affected by the actions he takes. It's not something the story just glosses over. Killing someone in order for him to live or to save another will weigh on his mind. It makes him so much more relatable than many other protagonists I have seen. The conversation he had with Nanami was very touching. Yuji literally just had a conversation with Junpei about him not wanting to kill someone, and then he was immediately forced to do so. Ending the transfigured humans' lives in order to save them really hurt Yuji, and now to him, the value of someone's life is blurred. Even the answer Nanami gave him was so real. There is no answer, and trying to find meaning in all of it is kind of a miserable way to live. But he knows Yuji will try anyway. They even reference it when he's speaking to Nobara about it. He's killed before, and watching someone cry because of someone's life that he's taken is tough for him to deal with. It really humanizes him, and that's what I love about him and some other characters in this series. How Yuji will handle this hero's contradiction in the future really has me intrigued. Alright, this is where I'll start dipping into some spoiler territory for my non-manga readers, so if you want to skip this part, here's the timestamp. Okay? Yeah? Let's go. As of now, Yuji is projected to be one of the strongest sorcerers to ever live, along with people like Yuta and Gojo. He has a long way to go in terms of power, learning his own curse technique if he even has one, and maybe even developing his own territory, which would be so cool if he could pull it off. I mean, Megumi is already developing one, so we'll see. In terms of character, we tend to see our protagonists keep the same energy from beginning to end with moments of maturity sprinkled along the way, but with how much pushback Yuji gets on his ideals, it's a bit hard to tell. It is very likely that with one strong push into the wrong direction, we might see our happy boy head down a dark path. Of course, we can't talk about Yuji's growth without talking about the bastard himself, Sukuna. The cunning and powerful curse that he is, constantly taunting Yuji at every turn. Along with that absolute massacre he enacted on Shibuya in the last arc, Yuji is going to have a hard time dealing with Sukuna's schemes that will most certainly come to pass. Will Yuji reach his full potential in time for his execution, or does Sukuna have something else in mind? Also, the reveal of him being the offspring of a curse is very damning. Not much is known about his birth or his parents besides the little we got in the recent chapters. I am very interested to see how this will play out. Maybe he's more like Mihito than we thought. Itadori Yuji is a fascinating, fun main character. He is kind, strong, funny, and very flawed in his ideologies. This combination of traits has the making of someone who is very easily likable, easy to root for, but also gives him this air of mystery. What will he face next, and how will his past actions influence his future choices? Will he stay this full of hope, or will he become someone much darker? Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you guys feel about Yuji in the comments. Do you like him as a main character or not? That's gonna be it from me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Johnny Store out of here. Peace.